I really did not want to make this video. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this one. Look, the Boston Red Sox, they're a mid-team right now. They are not a bad team, not a good team, just somewhere stuck in the middle, and nothing proved that more correct than taking 2 out of 4 games from the Baltimore Orioles, perfectly splitting down the middle a 4-game series with the worst statistical team in AL right now, and that led you into Memorial Day. This today is usually the benchmark for major league teams to figure out who they are, right? Are they a playoff contender? Are they somewhere in the middle, or are they a fake? Are they not going to do anything this season? And for the Red Sox, 3 years in a row now, you're somewhere in the middle. Right now, if you were to take a look at what the Red Sox are looking at with this team, they're watching the division slip away. They're now 6.5 games back of the New York Yankees. They're a sub-500 team at 27-28. And right now, on paper, they are not a playoff contender, 2.5 games back of a wild card spot. This series perfectly exemplified why this team is stuck in this situation. And a lot of people think that all this boils down to is Alex Cora. Now, this is one of the hottest button issues in Red Sox Nation right now. You're either an idiot for wanting Alex Cora to be fired, or you're an idiot for not wanting Alex Cora to be fired. There's no in between for Red Sox fans, right? There are people screaming at each other. It's happened on this channel, right, during live streams and whatnot, about this conversation, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. So, unfortunately, because of where the Red Sox are right now, and because of what part of the season it is, we got to have a conversation about this. We're going to actually try and take the most diplomatic approach here, and we're going to look at both sides pretty equally in this video. I wanted to start with reasons why Alex Cora should be fired. And I think the biggest reason for this argument is that fans want blood. It has essentially been 3 years, 3 1/3 years, right, if you could count this season as well, of the Red Sox being this sort of middle ground, up and down, not actually going anywhere seasons. Every year, we were promised better, and that has yet to actually be seen. Rightfully, Red Sox fans are done. They're tired. They're fed up with this sort of middle ground, nothing burger Boston Red Sox baseball. When people want change, you immediately look at the head coach or the manager, right? We've seen it with the Patriots. We've seen it with the Bruins. That's just sort of the first place you go. When teams do well, managers or head coaches, they get praised for what they do. When teams do poorly, managers and head coaches, they're the ones at the front of the fire. Whether that's rightful or not, it's just simply how sports work. And for the Red Sox, maybe there is some merit to this conversation. The Red Sox fans, they want something done, and maybe it really is a clubhouse issue with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, if you think about it, there is only one constant here outside of really Rafael Devers and maybe Jarren Duran, if you consider Jarren Duran, who did partial seasons in some of these, as main constants for the Red Sox over these last 3 years. Outside of that, it's been Alex Cora, right? And things have transferred between teams no matter what roster construction you have. And this may be your most talented Red Sox roster on paper of these 3 1/3 seasons where you've been this middle-of-the-road, nothing-burger baseball team. You still have issues with defense. It doesn't matter if you put a Gold Glover at third base. You still have issues at defense, right? It doesn't matter if you go out and get an ace. Starters on this team are simply not going deep enough into games and overexposing this bullpen. It does not matter if you add an Alex Bregman, a Christian Campbell, and now a Marcelo Meyer. This team still has issues with strikeouts, and those have been things that have been carried over the past couple of years that continue to haunt the Boston Red Sox. Normally, when things carry over like this, there ends up being a culture problem in your clubhouse, right? Whether it be Alex Cora's too easy on these guys, Alex Cora doesn't have control of the clubhouse, whatever you want to have a conversation about, what it boils down to is an inability to cultivate a winning culture with a team that should be winning baseball games. And ultimately, that is where fans sit there and they point the blame at Alex Cora, right? Where they say this team on paper needs to be better than a sub-500 baseball team. The only reason they aren't is because of the way that they are being coached. And again, I'm not here to give my opinion. I will give my opinion at the end of this video, but right now, this is just simply what I've been seeing out there, right? If you are against Alex Cora, these are the main arguments. That and bullpen management, right? Hey, maybe the Red Sox are 3 games over 500 or 2 games over 500. Had one of these games, your bullpen management been a little bit better. There are specific games that I think every Red Sox fan points to at this point if you're in the category of getting rid of Alex Cora, one of them being the Crochet game where bullpen was absolutely demoralized. Crochet was doing really well. Alex Cora takes him out early to help prevent any further injuries throughout the regular season. That game in Detroit where Greg Weiser was pushed to his second inning when you had a fully fresh Liam Hendricks in that bullpen waiting and ready to go, right? There's those little things that I think a lot of fans are starting to point to as the biggest reasons why the Boston Red Sox ultimately are not in the position that they're in right now. And I think a lot of people point into this series as well as something about that, right? Even though you won 2 games in this series and outscored the Orioles by a whole lot in this series overall, you still end up splitting this series. Now, ultimately, to me, even with bullpen management, it all comes down to culture, right? It all comes back to what mindset are you putting these guys in before the game starts that isn't allowing them to win baseball games. Could that all fall on the hands of Alex Cora? Could it genuinely be that cultivating a different culture in this clubhouse, that changing the mindset of all of these players pushes them to actually start performing the way they need to perform, or pushes a Trevor Story to not be one of the worst hitters in Major League Baseball, gets Christian Campbell out of this slump, tells Brian Bale that he needs to figure out what to do on the mound, tells Giolito to figure out what he needs to do on the mound, although he looked pretty solid in this series. But either way, right, can these guys actually turn things around if you change the culture of what the Red Sox are trying to do? I think ultimately what this boils down to, if you're a Red Sox fan who wants Alex Cora fired, is you want blood, right? You want something done to this Red Sox team as punishment for their issues this season. You want something done that has this front office showing you that, hey, we're taking this middling nothing burger baseball that's getting put on the field that is totally unacceptable given the way this roster is constructed, and we are going to do something about it. And obviously, again, like we talked about, being the sort of forefront of this team, Alex Cora comes into the crosshairs. But what about the other argument? Now, you guys know I'm a pretty pro-Cora guy, right? I've been defending him for a little bit now, especially over the last couple of seasons, so I do have a legitimate answer as to why the Red Sox shouldn't fire Alex Cora, and it's a question I ask anytime someone either in a live stream or in the comment section blatantly says Cora needs to go. My question is always, do you legitimately think that firing Alex Cora today rattles this team off 5 or 10 wins? Do you legitimately think that Alex Cora being fired really resets this Red Sox team, or do you just simply want to see someone go just to see someone go? And that's my problem with firing a manager in baseball. Most of the time when you see a manager fired, you're at your lowest point, right? It's essentially a time of death for a baseball team. The Baltimore Orioles are a prime example of this. They just fired their manager, Brandon Hyde. They haven't gotten better. They've stayed exactly the same because in baseball, opposed to a lot of other sports here, your manager has a lot less impact on how a team does game to game than a head coach in basketball or a head coach in a hockey game or even a head coach in a football game, right? It's an entirely different skill set you need to be a successful manager in Major League Baseball than you do in any other sport. And a lot of times when a team isn't doing super well, it's not simply because of the manager. I mean, think about it this way. In this series in particular, you had a lot of issues that prevented you from beating one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball right now. If you had fired Alex Cora 2 days ago and Ramon Vasquez or Jason Varitek was at the helm of this Red Sox team, do you think that the Red Sox would get longer outings from their starting pitching? Do you think that the Red Sox stop striking out all of a sudden and score more than 2 times in the last 18 innings? Do you think that Alex Bregman doesn't get hurt, right? No, probably not. No matter who's sitting on that bench in that dugout, you're probably still going through those issues, and that's my problem with firing Alex Cora. I just think that these conversations go deeper than just, hey, we need to get rid of this manager, right? Right now, it's not just Alex Cora who's preventing this team from winning. It's your hitting philosophy. It's your pitching philosophy. It's your roster construction. It's everything at the moment. it's not just one man. It's everybody. It's the front office. It's the players. It's the coaches. It is the manager. It's all four of these sort of four-headed dragons here that are just absolutely pooping the bed. You don't have your best team on the field right now. You brought up Marcelo, but it took Alex Bregman going down to get him on this club, even though Trevor Story was one of the worst and continues to be one of the worst overall baseball players in the entire sport right now. You still have Roman Anthony sitting in AAA, who has just been absolutely incredible for you, and I get it. These guys aren't going to turn around your season, but this is what I'm talking about when we're talking about roster construction, right? Alex Cora does not have a control over who's on this 26-man roster. Your pitching and hitting philosophies as a club. Alex Cora absolutely has some control over that, but ultimately, a lot of that is the organization itself. A lot of that are individual coaches, right? A manager has to put his faith in who he delegates roles to in this team. His real job is to make sure that the 26 personalities on this field are comfortable and are doing their job. Outside of that, a lot of the issues you're seeing on the pitching side of things could come back to Andrew Bailey. A lot of the stuff you're seeing on the hitting side of things could come back to Pete Fatsi. And ultimately, that's my problem with this team right now. It's not that Alex Cora has been a great manager this year, because I've had my issues with him, right? I just brought up two instances where I sit there and I say, looking back, you probably could have or should have done this a different way. I don't think firing him changes the way the Red Sox approach baseball games right now. In fact, I actually think it kind of makes them worse, right? The Red Sox as players, they love this dude. They absolutely love Alex Cora. Do you really think firing him right now genuinely puts them all together and say, hey guys, we got to band together and we got to win now because they got rid of Alex Cora? No, probably not, right? These guys are probably going to sit there and they're going to say, I can't believe this organization treated Alex Cora the way they did. Yes, our actions have consequences and that's part of them, but that doesn't normally motivate guys to do well. Again, you look at times in which managers have been fired in a season here. You look at the Angels last year and they're firing. You look at the Orioles this year and they're firing. The White Sox and they're firing, right? The Rockies and they're firing. None of these guys got better. This is a white flag conversation. This is a worst case scenario conversation that we're having right now. And the Red Sox, in my opinion, simply aren't there yet. I don't want them to give up on this season. I think firing Alex Cora is a true sign that they're giving up on this season, because then you band-aid the manager position and try and find someone more permanent next year. And that makes this season essentially a wash, a developmental year for your top guys. And again, you should not be in that conversation right now. It's not like you're the Baltimore Orioles, who are 14 games back of first place and 8 games back of a playoff spot. It's not like you're the Rockies, who haven't won 10 games yet this season. You're sitting around 500. You're pretty far out of the division right now. And I think that's a giant conversation that continues to have on this channel. But you're 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. You've one good week. You are a playoff team, right? You should not be sitting there having conversations about, hey, do we just give up on the season now, get rid of Alex Cora, and then try again next year? To me, that is unbelievably unacceptable. This team was set out to be a division contender. You can't even get there, right? You're at Memorial Day. You're clearly a middle-of-the-pack team. At the bare minimum, you should be a wild card contending team, and I don't think firing Alex Cora gets you to a wild card spot. So everyone always asks, okay, so you don't want Cora fired, then what do you want, Corbin? How do you fix this Red Sox team? And honestly, I don't think there's a clear answer right now, right? I don't think there's a, hey, you do this, the Red Sox are going to be winning a whole lot of baseball games. Everything's off kilter. If you want to talk about the offense, you want to talk about the defense, you want to talk about the pitching, you want to talk about the injury reports, right? Everything is not where it should be. They need a generational recalibration right now. You need to take a look at the way you're approaching your pitching, your hitting, your roster construction, and figure out a core shift. It's not going to happen overnight, but I need it to happen in the next month. At the bare minimum, you need to be playing above 500 baseball. I don't care if that's with Marcel Meyer, Roman Anthony, and Christian Campbell all developing, or whether that's with someone else coming in here and doing something for your team. You just lost maybe your most important bat outside of Rafael Devers. Your pitching hasn't been healthy this entire season yet, right? But there are things that need to be figured out. And they need to be figured out right now. Firing in Alex Cora, in my opinion, should be worst case scenario. You're not there yet, but you're on the road to worst case scenario, aren't you? You continue to do this type of crap where you can't beat bad teams, you can't beat good teams. Eventually, that is worst case scenario for a roster constructed the way this is constructed. And I don't know at what point do you get to where, okay, now we got to talk about worst case scenario. On top of that, I also think there's no way they're going to fire Alex Cora yet. He's 2 months into a 3-year deal. If we're looking at it that way, right? The Red Sox are at least going to give him a full season to figure out what is going wrong and see if he can do some course correction of his own before they even have this conversation. So to me, having this right now is a little bit silly, but it's all I'm seeing, right? It's all I'm seeing in the comment section on Twitter, in live streams. Everyone's having this conversation one way or the other. So I figured we needed to talk about it. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Are you pro or against Alex Cora being with this team? Let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you guys want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Sea Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you hopefully with a more fun video. But either way, I will see you in the red seats.